And welcome to the Talon Outdoor Show. I'm Charlie.
Oh, I'm JD.
Oh.
Or Bobalicious. Bominicious.
Yeah,
Bominicious.
Abominicious. I'm Fred. Captain Paul Tire.
And I'm Grant.
Okay, well, been a lot going on this week. First off, I want to say my prayers go out to all those involved in the plane crash.
Yeah.
On the Potomac, and that sucks royally. And I know a lot of our listeners up around the Dothan, Fort Rucker area, or I don't know, Fort.
Yeah.
No,
It's
so
probably
maybe
fixing to be
Fort
Rucker again.
Let's
It ain't never changed for me. So
Yeah, I don't know how to. I can't. Anyway, so I know a lot of guys up there, and even some of our employees and members, fly those helicopters and recognize the dangers in that. And there's a lot of train accidents around the world with the military all the time, and I hate that. Somebody somewhere at some level, some made a mistake and things happen, and
you ever flown into Washington D.C. or any
Yeah,
or Logan
or
Logan in Boston or any of those big ones?
I don't know how
I know
they have training flights around that.
That's my
type
question.
of.
Why on earth?
I mean, that to me that's seems a little silly, but hey man, people do what they're told to do. Yeah. And I mean, 300 feet above an approach on an airport, unless they were doing the mock approaches and things like I don't know. I can't speak out of turn, but certainly I feel for the soldiers and the families and all the people involved.
I was just saying, to me, it's there are certain airports that I've flown into that are more terrifying than others, and Washington is one of those because of the amount of traffic and you look out the windows up there and there's always helicopters in the general area. It doesn't, and not just necessarily military. I mean, there's
it was avoidable. It was preventable, and it was avoidable, and people have been warning about this, and there have been missed calls.
Well, apparently there was a close call earlier, right before this happened.
Yeah. Well, they probably mentioned those because they happen probably almost weekly or daily.
Well, the thing that bothers me the most is the supposedly the first initial FAA thing was that the air traffic control tower was understaffed.
It was.
Yeah. Well, I think they're supposed to have 30 employees, and they've got like 18 or 19, and that's total. That's not on a shift. That's like in total. And we know in law enforcement and having dispatch centers and stuff how important that stuff is. And the thing is they got to have breaks, and they get sick and things happen. Yeah. But when you are that many people down on staffing, you're probably working mandatory overtime. You're tired. You're distressed. That's not a job to do that, and that is a highly, highly stressful job. Yeah. But here's the thing: where do you get those people from? I mean, you don't just go, hey, we want to hire a bunch of air traffic controllers. That is not. You don't just get your typical.
I mean, this was something that was brought up months ago on some of the shows and the news reports that I read, and there were qualified people that were turned down as air traffic controllers because they didn't check off DEI boxes.
But why would they turn them down when there's openings they can't fill with people that did fit the criteria?
Yeah, I just heard on Glenn Beck, one guy made 100% on the test.
On his test.
They didn't do it because he was white.
No check off, no DEI.
He didn't check off DEI boxes. I mean, and if there was a directive under the FAA to hire air traffic controllers with psychological problems.
That's right.
I mean, they're just so they could be diverse. You don't do that. You hire the best person for the job. If I'm going to, I don't care what he is.
I don't care what he or she or they are.
Yeah,
I don't care less.
Land
the plane safely.
I want, the guy that's going to operate on me, the guy that's going to fly the plane, I want that to be the most qualified person there.
Well, I can tell you that having been a law enforcement officer, we didn't care who was sending us. We just wanted good information. So when we rolled up on a scene, we had all of the information that was important to us and that was as accurate as it could be obtained. I didn't care who, what, when, how, where was on the other end of that line. Now, take that a step further, something we've all experienced because we've all flown. I have to assume that somebody somewhere has checked all those boxes in qualification on the qualification side, and we actually have that the pilot knows how to fly and the mechanic knew how to fix the thing and the guy fueling the plane knew how to do that, and everything's been checked and counter checked and triple quadruple checked, because I don't necessarily want to be up if we have a car crash on the interstate, I have some control. Okay, even if there's more cars coming, I can get up and run away. I can do something. I can't do nothing in
Here's
the
the
air.
best explanation. There's a reason we drive to South Dakota
Absolutely.
to go hunting once a year. There's a reason we drive.
I mean, I don't know that I will fly again. I mean, maybe I will, maybe I won't. But the chances, I can tell you that over the last few years, the chances of me getting killed in a plane crash dropped astronomically.
Getting less and less.
I hadn't been on a plane in a while. And here's the thing, I'm not afraid to fly. I don't have a problem flying. I recognize there's a risk, but I also look at the statistics, and you are more likely to get killed on the roadway than you are up there. And it's not necessarily, and I relate this back to carrying a gun on my person, it's not necessarily the likelihood of death that scares me so much. It's the loss of control. The fact that I have zero control. People go, well, why do you carry a gun everywhere you go? Because if I have a gun, I mean, I hope I never have to use it. All right, but at least I have some control over the outcome of a fight. They go, well, you don't need a gun to fight. Maybe I don't need a gun to fight.
I do.
Maybe I don't need. Maybe I need my words and my body language is all I need. But ultimately, at the far end of the spectrum, I can pull a gun and end this thing anytime I choose. I have control over the outcome of any conversation that I have. Ultimately. And 99.99999% to the infinitesimal 0.9, I'm never going to use a gun.
Yeah.
But I know that at the far end of that discussion, if I want my way, I'm going to get my way. I am in control of the world I live in to some degree.
I can simplify that. I ain't going to die for lack of shooting back.
Well, there you go. There you go.
Now, are y'all ever get in a situation, you're at the grocery store, whatever, and something happens, you're prepared to not run, but save lives.
I'm telling you,
that's what's awesome.
Going away from the problem is first and foremost my plan. I want to get as far away from that. But that if you're going to carry a gun and be sensible about things, the first objective is to get away. That is the one certain way to win a fight is to not have a fight. So if you can remove yourself, that's what you need to do.
Unless there's somebody there that needs protecting.
And unless there's somebody that needs protecting, me, my family, or somebody else. Right, and that's exactly right. But first and foremost, if it's just me and I can walk away, and I don't care if I lose face, or this is not the meet you on the field of honor kind of stuff. You don't have that attitude. I'm going to stand up for myself because I can stand up. Well, I'm going to stand up for myself too. But I ain't never been in a fist fight from 5 years old to now. I ain't never been in a fight that I didn't get skin up. That just don't. If you get in a fight, you're gonna get skin up.
Now I've seen you, and I'm not gonna say you never got
hurting.
Skin up.
Well, I'm still hurting from some of those though. The injury might come later because you done.
I've seen you come out ahead. A head's good.
I didn't say I'd ever lost one. I just said it always hurts after the fact.
When I teach the mantra, I teach for the mantra of the protector, and I use this for law enforcement officers a lot, but this is for everybody, is that when you are armed, you don't walk into a room with the attitude as I'm the baddest dude in here. You walk in there with the attitude that everybody in here is safer because I am here. Because I carry myself in a way, and I arm myself, and I prepare myself in a way that I can help control the outcome of a bad situation in the world that I'm in. My little circle of influence may be small, but it's the people that I'm around are safer. Even people I don't like, even people I don't agree with, even people that may hate the fact that I have a gun, that may hate what I stand for, they're still.
You can protect them too.
I will protect them too. Yeah. Now I might not step in front of a bus for somebody that's cursing me out, calling me a bunch of names, and I see them about to get run over. I may not sacrifice my own life for them. I may go, man, that's karma. But I will certainly do everything I can to help them. But and that's just I don't know. So I want the world, and I expect the government, when the government takes responsibility, you need to take responsibility. When you say this is what we're going to regulate and we're going to do it, then you need to make sure you do it. Just because people just blindly follow. I don't know. I've flown on the skid of a helicopter and looked at the pilot and knew he was a little touched, but still did it anyway because I knew he was good at what he was doing. All right, we'll be back in a minute. we're back. So we get on the breaks. We get we could have recorded a whole segment right there on the break when we were. So we were talking about some of the confirmations and stuff, and this is getting a lot of attention.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's interesting. I like some. I don't have time to sit there and watch the whole thing, but I liked what Cash Patel said. Grant, from now on, when we get down to a minute or 2 minutes, something
you got
just
1 minute.
I thought it was.
You have 2 minutes.
It was 2 minutes. Just you have 2 minutes.
Have at it.
Wow.
I'd love to sit here for 3 hours and read the whole transcript. You got 2 minutes.
That takes balls right there. But here's the thing: what are they going to do? Because that's just advice and consent. And Trump and J.D. Vance said, we're the president do what he wants to. It's just advice and consent, and he'll appoint them however. Because there's ways he can get them in.
That's not that's not a cabinet position. I don't think that has to be. Does that have to be ratified or approved by the Senate?
I like that the FBI got involved in some of the migrant detentions and stuff, illegal detentions. Or not the detentions are illegal. It's just, what I'm saying. The criminal.
They out chasing bad guys.
Oh, and I like this new press secretary. She's up there talking about, well, y'all don't understand. You're talking about, which ones committed crimes. Well, they all broke the law coming here. They're all criminals by default. And I see people on Facebook.
We've been saying that for a long time.
If you break the law, you're a criminal.
About that.
It's
the
actually
Pope says it's a disgrace that what we're doing.
Who?
Having a border. The Pope.
Pound sand.
And that guy just passed a law. If you go on the Vatican, they put you in prison or charge you a huge fine. If you go
have you ever seen the Vatican?
So he's going to say that Trump's bad and he's doing the same thing. That's just crazy.
Have you ever seen ever seen pictures or been to the Vatican? I've been to the Vatican.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
They have what's called the Swiss Guard at the Vatican. And every entrance, it is a fort. It is completely walled. It ain't fenced. It's got these big, huge marble, this big, wall around it. It's in the middle of Rome, and it's got this big wall around it. And they have armed guards, like militarily armed guards. They got the fancy dressed up looking ones now. Yeah. The Swiss Guard are wearing all these old Middle Ages looking suits and stuff. But they got guys with machine guns at every gate.
Yeah.
Every gate, and they're walking around in plain clothes, and it is one of the most police state-looking places you've ever been.
They're going to say Trump's bad
bubble
crazy.
They're just trying to keep terrorists out.
Doesn't he have like a bulletproof bubble car?
Yeah, and that's after John Paul got shot years ago. They started doing that. But I'm saying is it's his little kingdom. That is truly his little kingdom in the middle of Rome. It's his
like
country.
Its own private.
It's its own country. It's its own entity, and it is a walled, fortified, heavily armed borders. So who are you talking to?
Not a good look.
Well, I mean, it's it's a far cry from the Roman Empire. Back when there's empires and countries, and they basically their own little country on that however many square miles they got there.
It's not even, I don't think it's square miles. It's a few acres. But anyway,
but to live like that, and that goes right back to the liberals that are had nice homes with gates and fences and stuff, and saying that I
calling
have
the police to come move the homeless people from in front of their house.
Yeah, I mean we want everybody else to suffer, but we don't want to suffer ourselves. And it's just that same thing. It boils all the way. It's local, it's regional, it's statewide, it's whatever. People are all about liberal policies and bringing people and providing. They don't want them in their yard. Yeah. They don't want them on their street, but they're okay with them spilling over into somebody else's neighborhood as long as it's not their neighborhood. And it was like you go to California. It's all right. Well, we don't want to do this and we don't want to do that, and then their neighborhood burns down.
I am 100% for people coming to this country that want to work, assimilate, and contribute to our society. I am 100%. They should fix the immigration problem. Make it fast.
Yeah,
we've got the technology. If they want to come here, live here, work here, pay taxes, and go to school and learn our language and assimilate and become Americans, that's what America is all about. That is the melting pot.
Did y'all see all the ones that were protesting at the colleges? Trump's done a thing to send the college kids back.
Go home.
They had some. They're putting them on a plane, sending them back.
They had some down to the courthouse the other day.
They're coming here
protesting the deportation. There were a bunch of.
That's fine.
Of course, none of them had jobs.
They might not want their picture taken if they're a student because they're going to get deported right back on over there. I'm telling you, they have a.
Take away
they're not citizens of this country.
That's right.
Okay, they're not citizens of this country, and I am 100% because I have friends have migrated here from other countries, and they have businesses, and they are fantastic people, and their families are welcome.
That's right.
But there's a process, and I promise you, the ones that I'm friends with, they followed the process. They jumped through the hoops, they did everything right, and I'm talking about from India, I'm talking about from Mexico, I'm talking about from other places that have come here, and these are valuable members. I promise you, Kash Patel's ancestors probably filled out a form before he came over here, and now he's about to run the FBI.
So let me pose this to you. Let's say me and you jumped in my boat, drove it across the ocean over there, and we landed on the shores of Spain.
Ain't gonna do it.
Yeah,
They gonna send you back.
Just a hypothetical. My boat ain't big enough to do that. But if we jumped up in the boat and run across the ocean over there and landed in another country and jumped out and run up to one of their courthouses, to their Capitol building, and started protesting about how they run their business, I would expect to go to jail.
Yeah, we can run down to Cuba and do that. Your boat will make it to Cuba.
Yeah, I can do Cuba.
What I don't understand.
We'd eat good until we got caught.
Smoke a couple of good cigars.
Yeah, but why these protesters? They all seem to. They put this patchouli oil. Who thinks that stuff smells good?
I don't know.
Oh man,
What is that?
That's nasty.
Patchouli oil.
Why are you getting close enough to smell it?
Well, I was at the courthouse.
You
They were around there.
get downwind. Sometimes
I
you
can
can't
smell
help
it.
it.
Patchouli oil.
If you hadn't figured it out, I got a sensitive nose.
I got some stuff in there that smells pretty close to it that I didn't know it smelled so bad. Every now and then you got to
coots are still
defunkify this
thick.
place.
I walk into Charlie's office every now and then and said, "Man, you been harboring hippies in here or something?"
It's supposed to smell like
Smells like hippies.
smell
to
like
me.
gunpowder and gun oil, but it smells like all them other
There
essential
ain't
oils to
nothing
me.
worse
I don't
than
know.
smelly hippie. I mean,
But it
they don't-
smells better than what it does smell like in there sometimes.
We need to get some that smells like hoppies, number 9.
Well, that's what I'm trying to find. Is they make all this stuff and they say, well, it's this is essential. It smells like campfires and the soap that we sell out there. I use that stuff and
That
it
stuff
smells
smells good.
It smells good. That stuff smells so good. And every day I get up, take a shower, and I
Sawtooth.
bait.
Sawtooth. Oh, yeah.
And you try those different scents, and man, I love starting the day smelling that stuff. And I'm looking for something that goes in one of those little misting things that has the same smell.
Well, you know what? Hoppies number 9 smells like bananas.
Why does it smell like bananas?
Yeah, it smells like bananas. If you
Yeah,
really
why
start
would it smell like banana?
analyzing, because it's got
it got
banana
banana?
oil in it. I don't know how you
Only
get
you would
banana
know
oil,
that.
but it's got banana oil in it. Yeah.
Only you would know that.
You know what WD-40 really is?
What?
It's fish oil. That's
why
you
it works on bait.
That's why you can spray it on fish bait and the fish will bite it. It's made out of.
I've done it before,
It's
Fred.
got some fish oils in
We
it.
go with another Cliff Clavin.
There you go. There you go.
Man.
I just
So how do you have all that
I
crap
just- I
floating around
don't-
in your head?
I
don't know. Can't explain it.
I went to
It
the
happens.
doctor this week. I don't know what HDs are, but the doctor said I had 80 of them.
ADM, ADHDs.
Yep, ADHDs.
Man, you need about 81 of them things.
What he said I had.
People probably want to know if you lived on Midget Road because you a midget.
Well, I was telling that joke to the bailiff coming in
Somebody ring the bell.
about the ADHDs.
I just
and
came
then
up with that one right then.
This woman was walking out of the courthouse. She said, "I'll tell you what HD stand for you." She said, "Height deficiencies."
Vertically challenged.
Did you remember the
Charlie's
remember,
y'all are both follically challenged.
yeah, you remember Morgan Wysocki one time? He's funny. Morgan's funny. So Morgan's was with sheriff's office. I think he's in Jefferson County. And Morgan's awesome dude. And we were at SWAT one day, and he told a story. Yeah, I was at Publix, and I was kind of hitting on this little girl up there at the register or whatever, and flirting with her, and not like I don't know what the age difference was, but so I was kind of flirting with this girl, and he goes, yeah, hey, and my name's Morgan. She goes, Big M, Little Organ. And he said, I just locked up,
There you go.
and I went, oh man. I said, I'm gonna tell that
I got to
story
go
one
now.
day.
Bye. Thank you, nice lady.
I don't know who raised that little girl, but they raised her right.
Right.
That's a sharp girl right there. Proud of her.
There you go.
I'm just clowning around.
That needs to stay here, Fred.
I'm gonna put it on
Hey,
the
don't
mic
be
stand.
tooting your horn now.
Yeah, so my son's, in the snowstorm, my son got this girlfriend that came around, and he takes her sledding, and she ends up breaking her foot. And she's got one of these things that you seen these people that get a foot surgery done.
And they got the little wheel thing,
They
cart that they put their knee on and roll. Yeah.
Thing. And she was over at the house last night, and I saw that thing, and I'm like,
I got just a thing.
I got this horn, put it on there.
This is your son's girlfriend?
Yeah.
The one that you're meeting?
Yeah, they got to.
Yeah, they probably gonna serve you with some paperwork.
Probably are.
I wonder why we're meeting with them.
All
that's a lawsuit.
That's
involved.
a setup to get me served with an injunction. I mean, you know what I mean?
Conrad Esquire, you have been served. There you go.
So I put this thing on her.
Now let's eat.
I'm thinking about going to Walmart, putting it on some of them scooters.
Don't give them folks no ideas. They already. I had a lady run slap over me one of them things the other day in the store. I mean, I was shopping.
Well, the people I see get on them, they get some momentum.
I was trying to find the specific toothpaste that I use, and this lady just come up there and boom right into me, and I'm like, well, excuse me, I was standing still. I guess you need toothpaste.
You seen the guy in the northeast part of town that rides that scooter, got the flashers on it?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah, it rides it up and down Thomasville Road.
Yeah, I've seen him in the middle of Oxbottom Road. And I think he got a new scooter.
Uh-huh. He was hauling tail on that thing.
Oh, yeah, he was going.
That thing was going about 20.
Yeah, he sits up there and yells at the people at Starbucks, which, God bless him. I mean, those people need to be
I do, too. I yell at the people at Starbucks.
So one time, I'll tell a quick story. Remember Dusty Miller? Dusty told a story one time. He said, I went out to a report of a theft, and the lady said, I walked out my house to get my paper, and I bent over and looked between my legs, and my scooter was gone. And her little scooter that was parked up by the house, that's when she noticed that it was missing. And we're back. So, yeah, we got a couple trade shows coming up. I'm going to one without you. That's the first. Yeah. That's like a first.
Yeah,
I never go. I don't go to these things without you.
You and Corey went to Las Vegas one time.
Yeah,
SHOT Show without me. I don't remember exactly why, but you did, and I was.
Well, after me, you and Corey went one year, and it almost got out of hand. I figured maybe we need to cut it back to 2.
You got one in Vegas coming up? Or?
No, they just had that, and everybody I talked to that was out there came back with the crud. There's a thing called the SHOT Show crud. Uh-huh. You put 80,000 people in a big building together from all over the world. I mean, all over the world. Every country that has guns and businesses and industry, they're all there, and all those germs get together.
Well, the last time me, you, and Jesse went out there, y'all both got real bad sick, and that was the year of COVID came right about the same time COVID was showing up in the U.S. So
the first case of COVID walked through that airport. That guy was in that airport with COVID that same weekend we were in there. I ain't so sure that we ain't the ones that brought it back to Florida. But, I know I got sick as a dog. I ain't been that sick, but then I got COVID again later. So whatever. Just don't ever want that headache again. But those things typically. Now we got what JD and I've done. We've quit going to the big trade show. We go to the regional or the or the distributor specific ones. So we go to a company called Amchar up in Savannah every year and take the wives generally and just kind of make a weekend out of it. And buy most of, a lot of stuff that we buy throughout the year, see new products and all. And then we're going to a new one that we haven't been. Well, it's not new, but we hadn't been.
Yeah, this is the first time they've done it. This first time. Yeah, this is. I think this is a brand new thing for one of our distributors to do this. I think you're going to see a lot more of that because people are tired of traveling. The SHOT Show that's run by NSSF, National Sports Shooting Federation, is who kind of sponsors the SHOT Show, and they used to do it. It was 2 years in Vegas and 1 year in Orlando. 2 years in Vegas, 1 year in Orlando. So we've been to a few of them in Orlando. Well, the show, the number of vendors outgrew everywhere else in the world to do it but the Sands Convention Center, and now it's outgrown the Sands Convention Center and has morphed and grown over into Caesar's Palace or one of the other. I mean, you go out there to those casinos, sometimes you don't know when you leave one and get to the other one, except the decorations change. And the
carpet changes patterns.
Yeah, carpet changes patterns. You've left one and gone to the other. But it's just so big now that, and anyway, we don't have a table. We don't set up a table for the holster company anymore, and it's just I hate
it was work getting a pallet full of stuff shipped out there, and then and we used to go to NRA shows too, and we would set up a booth there. And, we crunched the numbers and realized that we just weren't, like a lot of smaller manufacturers are. They're starting, Darren over at Red Stitch Steel, he doesn't set up a booth at those things anymore. He says, it's just, that's
it ain't worth the.
No.
So y'all going to the show to buy products, not sell them.
Now, we started out, and then we've been back and forth. We were researching back in the beginning, but now we're just buyers. We don't try to sell anything. We still have a holster company, but we don't hand out holster cards and stuff. We're not into distributorship like that anymore. It's mostly custom stuff here through the store. And if you're listening to the show and you want a custom holster, we do that here.
So I got some nice ones.
You want some cross-draw chest mounted rig, or the fight bears with, or you want some little pocket holster, whatever. We do all that stuff here. It's custom rifle slings. We can engrave stuff.
Yeah, I had a customer from New York that had your holster. As soon as I mentioned Talon, he's like, "Oh, I know them. I got one." Everything. He pulled out.
Yeah, but when we got in the holster business, we were doing really, really well, and then everybody
else got in the holster business.
Everybody else got in it, and then we would have had to spend as much money marketing as we made, and it just got to the point where we're just going to focus on guns and training and the gun range and local folks, and we don't need somebody in Spokane, Washington knowing who we are, although we do send holsters up there for maybe not Spokane, but places like that.
Is it Spokane or Spokane?
And
Spokane. Depends on where you're from.
Depends on where you're from.
Okay.
If you're from if you're from Dry Creek, south of Marietta, it's probably Spokane.
Listen,
kind of like cocaine.
You come to where I live, and we'll teach you how you're supposed to say stuff, and then you can take that back home.
Okay.
It's like supposed to. You say the syllables, it's more efficient.
We're all
about efficiency down there. We'll be right back. We're back. I'm sitting here reading a warning that I did not realize from Mr. Calloway. So Billy Bailey reached out to me and said, "Hey, man, you still have some quail?" And I said, "Y'all get seated. It's a story." And I said, "Yes, I do. I have some quail for sale. Probably going to keep back a bunch of my hens and sell mostly roosters and all, because I just want to get some quail eggs for Mr. Conrad here. They're still waiting."
All right.
And he says, "Well, I got a lady who wants a dozen hens." And I said, "Well, I can do that. I'll have to go through." And obviously she wants them either to lay eggs or to breed or whatever. And I said, "Well, she's in the homesteading thing too, and husband's a farmer over around Sneed's," and on and on and on. So, okay, cool. She wants to swap. She can swap you a couple of turkeys, or can pay for them. And I'm like, I don't know. I'll take a couple of turkeys. Go. Well, she's got a big old Tom, first season Tom, and a hen. Yep. And I listened to that this morning. And so I said, "Oh, sure." So we worked. Let me tell the dadgum story. And so
without the sound effects.
Well, yeah, because I want to put this on the internet. It needs to be short enough people listen to it.
Go on then.
You outside people's attention span now. So I go and meet her yesterday. I went and picked out the quail, and I hand selected a dozen fine hens, in quail hens. And may have been 13 because I kind of lost count because I'm bad about doing that.
That's the boys.
And so I get there, and do you want to hear this story?
Yeah, I do.
Well, then shut up.
He's the one making the noises.
No. I watched you do it. So anyhow, I can edit all this crap out and make it shorter for the internet.
I won't be.
No, you won't.
All right, go on with it.
So anyway, so I go and I meet her yesterday, and I look up there, and man, you talking about pretty? These turkeys, she's got them in, and apparently she had slaughtered turkeys a few days before, and she had this spare hen because she got tired of killing them all. So one got the reprieve. I think it's Sweet. The turkey's name
the
was
Emperor issued
Sweetie.
A
she had one. She had one set back to keep for breeding purposes, and Sweetie was running around the yard. Well, Sweetie watched all this happen apparently, and she goes, I got tired and we let her live.
Poor thing.
And so she sent me a picture of that one. So we're going, Sweetie and Jacob, who was the Tom. And so all right, so I get there. She goes, well, how about this? Is this hen going to be? And I can't tell the difference. And this beautiful hen. She goes, this is one I was going to keep. Sweetie, I ain't seen her in a couple of days. She left.
Well, you would too. Somebody over there chopping your buddy's head
She's
off.
out there somewhere, and so me, I only hear about half what people say. I'm all right. Well, okay, no, it's a beautiful hen. That's fine with me. She goes, okay. Well, Jacob he likes women. He's been raised by women. And they're over there, her and her dog, just petting this bird, scratching his head, and he's loving it. He's leaning into it, and I'm like, cool, we got a pet. And she goes, well, he doesn't really like strange men. And I said, well, I'm not a strange man. And so we load those things. She catches them, puts them in the dog kennel in the back of the car. I drive them home, get there before dark. I'm putting them in a big dog kennel. I got some chicken wire over the top so they don't get out. And because I don't know, domestic turkeys can't fly, but they can flap. And I don't know what breeds they are. And there's certain breeds. There's one breed, which is a black Spanish, that's allegedly fly. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't want to get out. So I open the dog kennel in there, get it all squared away. They won't come out because they have roosted for the night. It's dark at that point in time. So this morning, I go down there, and I'm going to introduce myself to the turkeys. This is home, guys. This is home. I'd put some feed and some water down there, so I'm going to ease on down there. The dogs are in the house. There's nothing to disturb them. I'm going to go down here. I got me some little meal worms, little grub worms, dried worms, and I opened the cage, and I took a step in the pen, and apparently Jacob doesn't like strange men. And all of a sudden, I get woof, 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 and I'm looking at dadgum spurs. And got my leg. I mean, he's coming at me now. And I'm trying to get out the fence, but I don't want him to get out the fence. So I got a face full of big old Tom turkey. And I'm talking about this thing's huge. He's a year old, and I mean, and he's making all this racket and you know how they'll get out there and fight. Well, apparently he thought I was worth fighting, and it wasn't stay out of my pen fighting. It was let me out and I will whip your butt fighting. This thing is trying to get on me. Now I've dropped a bag of grub worms, and I don't want him to shred that thing up, So,
please tell me there's video footage of this on your security cameras.
I don't know. I'll have to go back and look. So I open the gate and I reach in, and he comes after my arm, and I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. So I go in there, and, if you got a dog that's jumping on you like Lily does all the time, you put your knee out there. No, I finally had to kick him in the chest to get him back far enough. I mean, not like hurt him, kick him, but push him with that's what exactly. Pushed him back there, reached in there, snatched that bag out, shut the gate, closed it, made sure it latched, and walked around there. And I'm like, well, let me just kneel down and calm him down, maybe feed him some. He tried to get me through the fence. I mean, he's pecking.
Thought about maybe putting a wig on and going out there.
I don't know. Well, here's the thing: is so apparently he likes women. So when my 16-year-old gets home today, I'm gonna put her in the pen with him and see what.
That's
happens.
a great idea.
I'm gonna see.
1-800-HRS Child Abuse Line. Be ready for this call, and it's probably true.
Well, so I sent her a text, and I said, "Hey, what breed are these?" She goes, "Well, yesterday I said some word I can't pronounce, but the girl's a full bronze, and he's a black Spanish, which is the one that can fly, and a bronze mix." She goes, "Oh no, I'm guessing Jacob's acting up. He's funny about men. He was raised by women. He lets my uncle pet him, but he hates my brother-in-law. And if it gets to be a problem, you can bring him back, and I will get you some cash, something else on the property. Maybe no, I'm toughing it out.
I got some high brass number 5. Man. We can handle this situation.
I'm going to tough it out, and we're going to tame this turkey.
Why don't you put him in a cage, bring him to the show next week?
Yeah,
let's not and say we did. I got some high brass 5.5. I got some high brass number 5s that full choke handle that situation.
I whispered a hot
I have never had a domestic animal since I was a kid, and my grandma and me walked out in the cow pasture, and we had the whole herd of cows walk us out into the pond. And she was like, "Oh, they're coming after us," and I don't think they actually were. I think they just wanted
something to eat.
Yeah, and I have never had a domestic animal other than like a vicious dog that bit me scare me like that. But that thing come after me, and it's not like, but it surprised me. And that wasn't what I was expecting. I'm thinking this is a tame animal.
And she
He's going to let
warned
me
you.
go in right. Maybe he won't. Maybe he won't let me pet him. Like
see.
my chickens, I have to kind of catch them.
Well, I do have a question.
He come after me, and he was mad.
I can tell the difference between a male and a female bass. What's the difference? How do you do on the quail? On the quail,
The white stripes.
Roosters
Well,
have
depending on the breed, but the
Roosters have a white strip on their eyes and their head. They
Mm-hmm.
got little white strips, and the hens have a dark or brown color.
Birds in the birds, the
Kingdom.
I was wondering.
The male bird is always more attractive than the female bird in the male
Okay.
in the bird kingdom.
But you don't have to. You don't, when you're out there quail hunting, you don't have to say, "Oh, only can shoot a male." Like certain
No,
guys
she
and
wouldn't.
stuff.
no.
They're going 0 to 60 in 2 seconds.
See
It's
that picture
not
right there?
happening.
Yep.
See that the light tan stripes on that that bird's head? Those would be white if that was a male. That's a female.
Okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
And you see when I caught these birds for her, I'm going through there. Normally I just scoop them up in a net. And
Yeah.
I've got my cardboard box there, open it up, and I'll just feel how many lumps is in the net, and I'll just dump them in the box. And I'll always be careful, maybe throw in an extra one, baker's dozen philosophy. And but I don't care which I got males or female. I don't care.
Yeah.
But when I was going these, I had to caught them like one at a time with the net, and I was real gentle with them. And I'm catching them, I'm looking at them, checking to make sure they're healthy. And these birds are. I'm like, you get to live a little longer. Because normally when I catch them, they're going to be dead within 24 hours. Because somebody's going to shoot. Well, they're going to get shot at. They may live.
But this is a
Spanish
black Spanish turkey. You got a picture of the
What's
turkey?
a picture of him?
Yeah, I showed you. That remember when you walked
said
behind me a little while
I'm
ago and
thinking,
you looked at the
do they look
pictures?
like wild turkeys, Charlie?
Oh yeah.
Do they look
Yeah.
like wild turkeys? Yeah. Oh yeah, they look like wild turkeys.
Well,
So here's what we do.
The Spanish black is a mix with the brown turkey from back in the 1500s.
I got a plan. We need to put some stobs in the ground with a little loop on them. We're gonna tie the other end of that. We're gonna do a string, tie it to the leg, and put them out there in the field down in the corner. And come turkey season, we just walk them out there, get them tamed up good, and we'll tie them up. We'll have some live decoys.
Yeah, but you got to. I mean, you're gonna get illegal alien turkeys coming up because
He's got a green card. They're
Spanish.
employed. They're employed. They got green
This
cards.
breed was immigrated in the 1500s, so they've been here long enough.
okay. All right, they assimilated.
They're natural born.
They were here before my ancestors by about 100 years. And we're back. So in this segment, we're going to try to cover three things: fishing stuff with Paul,
Because they biting.
bass teams at the collegiate level with Fred, because he saw one from Alabama, and JD's Peacock Story.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
go ahead.
Well, Fred brought up that they had peacocks, which there's peacocks all over Clarn Lakes apparently.
Oh, and you can't use
They
live.
probably
You can't
came
use
from
live decoys.
I do know
on
that
turkeys.
it is illegal to use live
Yeah.
decoys. I'm just making a joke.
Yeah.
So game wardens, I'm joking, maybe.
No, we had peacocks
And
growing up.
you had
didn't they?
yeah.
They had prevented me from sneaking away. They like burglar alarm.
Oh yeah, them and
what's your
guineas.
Peacock Story?
So my father-in-law, mother-in-law, and father-in-law lived down in Miami till about 5 or 6 years ago. They moved up here. Well, they had a big yard for Miami, about 2 acres, and all of a sudden these peacocks started showing up in their backyards. I ain't talking about one or two of them. I'm talking about like 15 of them. We went down there to visit one time, and there's all these peacocks in the backyard. And my mother-in-law says, yeah, they just showed up here, so we started feeding them. And she had foxes, and she fed everything that came through the yard. And anyway, they were just enjoyed watching the peacocks. Well, they had a big fifth-wheel camper out there parked. And them peacocks got up on the roof of that camper and did $20-something thousand worth of damage to the roof of that camper. Because, campers have that membrane, the waterproof membrane for a roof on a camper.
That's
and
insane.
They got up there and what?
So that's insane in the membrane.
Yeah. Well, they parked it. There was a little scrub oak out there, and it dropped acorns on the roof of the camper out there. And them peacocks got up there. I guess they were scratching just like they'd scratch in the ground looking for something to eat, and they just shredded. I mean, absolutely. And I asked my father-in-law, I said, how do them things taste? He goes, I don't know. I said, let's find out.
It tastes like turkey from what I hear.
Yeah, I
I
can't
have
imagine it
I have
being
a
much
story
different.
about guineas. Y'all know what guineas
Guinea-
are?
Oh, yeah, they make
We
Well,
had
I'm
those
from
too.
Tallahassee. and I
good
went
burglar alarms.
to Lake City from my parents were from, and I went with my pellet gun out hunting. I found some of them things, and I was shooting them. I got my butt
Ooh.
tore up.
We had a pile of them. I used to go
Shooting
raid the
guineas.
nest.
I didn't know. I thought they were wild.
They got their eggs. They lay an egg. They'll lay eggs in it'll be a pyramid about 12 inches tall, just a mound of eggs, those guinea fowl.
You ever had guinea eggs?
Oh yeah,
Are they
they're
like
delicious. They're delicious.
Like
and
quail
they're
eggs?
almost perfectly round. They're very round. They're between a quail egg and a chicken egg. They're like a small chicken egg, but they're not real oblong egg shaped. They're more round.
They can run fast too.
But then I used to go look around. I'd find them guinea nest, and you just find a pyramid, a big old tall mound of eggs, and I'd go in there and steal them eggs and out of their nest and cook them. When I was a kid, we used to had a bunch of them. They make great burglar alarms. But anyway,
So,
let anything know.
so Fred, you
yard.
saw
As only ever. And took a picture of it on the interstate. Troy University bass team. Guy's got a nice bass boat.
Yep.
foreign concept to him. I said,
There's
"Yeah,
550 colleges that have bass teams.
No kidding.
It's grown in the last.
Can you get a scholarship?"
Yes, absolutely, full ride.
Well, Fred said, "I want to major in bass fishing." I don't think they major
Man,
in bass
if they'd
fishing.
have had bass fishing for a
Oh,
major,
man, I tell you.
back
I
when
know
was a
Childs
kid-
has a bass
Yeah,
team.
they're actually today. I have promised my 15-year-old that I will take her to the boat basin on Sunday afternoon for the weigh-in.
Yep, they got
there's
Saturday and Sunday.
She done
Yep.
throwed a craving on some little boy on the bass team.
Well, he fishes. He's probably a good kid.
Yeah,
Now, where is it?
at the boat
Bainbridge
basin,
Boat Basin.
What boat basin?
in Bainbridge,
Oh.
right there at 27.
The bass
84
capital
right
of
off.
Georgia, man.
Yeah.
So that's where they're having the tournament?
That's
Yep.
where they're fishing out of. Is there? Yeah.
The weigh-in will probably start at 3.
Okay.
There's going to be 200 boats in it, so anybody who's planning on going to Lake Seminole this weekend, it's going to be
Crowded.
It'll be busy,
This time of the
Really?
year, Lake Seminole on the weekends gets very crowded because
especially
there's
this is
one
the first
tournament after
bigger
another.
tournament. But we got a lot of wind today. I was out there. You know Bobby Williams. I was out with him this morning. We were catching
Mr.
some
Bobby.
big crappie. It was fun, but them boats are running by. I love high school fishing. Think it's the best thing since Ray Scott started bass. You know, it's really good. But brothers, some folks, their kids decide they want to fish,
Uh-huh.
and they go buy a boat, and they really don't know it don't have brakes. You know what I mean? I see some stuff. JD,
Yeah.
that blows
Oh, yeah.
my mind.
We see that every Memorial Day.
I'm hoping nobody gets hurt. Every year, somebody there's an accident. It's weird.
Yeah,
Well,
we
I
see
think
that.
I think the high school tournaments make the kids can't actually operate the boat, the
Oh,
big motor on the boat.
yeah,
they
that's
can
what-
they operate
that's
the
right.
trolling motor and they fish, but they have
That's
to have a
right.
captain to drive them around and
Yeah,
let
the
them fish out
captains
of it.
usually are
A
always
grown,
running the boat.
hopefully a grown
in high school.
person, a grown adult.
Yeah, but
That
it's going to be
ain't
good.
drinking.
Yeah,
Yeah. You don't definitely want to be
probably
doing
frown
that.
on that.
But man, the crappie fishing has been exceptional. We caught some giants today. I'll show you a picture of it.
What's the
when we get
water temperature?
51.5 today.
So when do the bass start biting the rattle traps?
Right
They've
now.
already been doing it.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're biting rattle traps right
Yes, sir. Rattle traps, crankbaits, that's been working. With this warming trend, I'm noticing a lot of the crappie are starting to move from their wintering areas, kind of transition to where they're going to be spawning. But the bass are going to start moving shallow probably this weekend. I bet they're going every day. It's warming up. I think that water temperature hit
So
54, 55 today, and 58
What do we
tomorrow.
get? About a March bed for bass?
Yeah. Well, really, the crappie start bedding in February, about the
Yeah.
middle of February, and then if they don't bed this weekend, it's coming, and then the bass will start right with them.
Because
And I've on Seminole, I've seen bass bed all the way into September.
really,
Yep.
Well, it's
Not
kind of like
big push in March and April, but
the vast majority of the fish will bed at a certain time, and then you'll have these. It's kind of like we see deer. We see
That's right.
deer with spots. In the late fall, early winter,
Right, the
you'll have a
middle part
late.
of the lake, they'll
doe
bed
will give birth
first.
to a fawn, where all the rest of the fawn are born around here in July.
Yeah.
So you'll have that late
what I always seen on Seminoles, the middle sections first, then the lower end near the dam, then up the rivers.
okay. So
Yes.
because Central Florida, I guess they bed around February.
They've been bedding. They've been bedding since down there since Central Florida, Okeechobee since October.
But the main bed, like when here, you see those big mama
March.
bass.
March. Depending on the weather, but
Okay.
usually March.
That's what I was wondering.
Your place probably might be the full moon in February. I bet that place is awesome.
Yeah, the
You gotta get me out
shallower
there,
water,
Fred.
warmer water. It's all relative to the water temperature and the depth of the lake.
That's
and
right.
all that stuff has bearing.
Now, I
on
noticed
it's
this
not
the
like
other
a
day.
magic number that you can put on a calendar.
I was catching, there was hundreds of thousands of crappie down the lake. Well, the water started warming up down the lake, and they seemed like they left. And I went up the river, and the water temperature was colder, where we caught them with CJ, and they've been catching there all week. Big uns. But they're starting to move shallow for sure.
I got a book that I ordered the other day. Well, I actually didn't order it. I was in the CVS in line and looked back there in this book called Life Along the Apalachicola River by a guy named Jim McClellan. Now, Mr. McClellan grew up in Bluntstown, so below the dam.
Right.
And I don't know how old he is, but he writes like he's might be just a few years older than me. You know, it's could be about the same age, a little bit older, but he talks about his grandfather and his father in a fish camp down on it's not Lake Imonia, it's Imonia Lake. It's down somewhere around Bluntstown. It's like an old oxbow up in there, and they got a camp there that used to be one of the timber company, Neil Timber, Neil Land and
Neil's Landing. Neil's Landing down there,
and it's down that way. And I got about 2 more chapters, and I'm gonna bring it, and let y'all read it. And it's a good book. And then I'm reading the stories and all this stuff about the history and the deer hunting when. You know, his dad just wore a shirt and khakis and, you know, regular shoes and whatever ball cap somebody gave him and on and on. I mean, but here's the thing is I'm reading this book and he's talking about oyster pearls, you know, in their head and all this kind of stuff, and doing fish fries and talking about how mullet, you know, you can't get elected in the South without having a mullet fry. You know, you got to have a fish fry. And he talks about some of the terminology and stuff like that. And it's all local stuff. And I'm sitting there reading these stories and I'm going, man, we need to write a book because there's the whole time I'm reading this, I'm thinking about JD and I'm going, well, you know, he's just a few miles upstream. And,
I guarantee you, I've been on some of the water he's talking about, and I promise you that. That's, you know, there ain't much of that river I haven't been on at some point in my life.
But the thing is, you know, it's cool to see somebody local write a book. Now you find it it was in the little book section at CBS where you buy the books on. They put all the local flavor books in there where, you know, you can read about the air history in Florida and stuff, which none of that interested me. I saw this book and I picked it up, and for like $20, it's a good read. You read the whole thing in a day if you sat down and just focused on it. It's taken me 2 evenings to get through all of it, but like the last chapter, and that's me still scrolling on the internet and all. But I'll bring it in and let y'all read it and pass it around, and it's interesting. But at the same point, we've told just as funny as stories, if not funnier, right here on this show. You know, it's just an accumulation of you know the culture, which we seriously identify with. I mean, so it's nice to read somebody else's. You know, it's the same reason people listen to this show when they listen to us. If you ever identify, with
if you ever want to read a really good book, Robert Rourke wrote the book The Old Man and the Boy, and it was based on Robert Rourke's. He used to write a column in the back of Sports Field or Outdoor Life or whatever, and it's the same kind of stuff. And I identify heavily with that book. It was my English teacher gave it to me in high school. So,
Robert Rourke, Old Man and the Boy.
Yes.
Well, we'll be that could be anyway. We'll be back next week.
It's all about